Welcome back, everybody. Today's makeup look is going to be another seasonal switch up of my everyday makeup look, which are some of my favorite videos to film because I love seeing how my everyday makeup looks and products that I use on the daily change as the seasons change. And obviously for us in Canada, we are going into winter. It's not, I mean, we're going into winter, but like winter is upon us. It is cold. My skin has been so dry and cracky and flaky and angry. And over the last few weeks, the last couple of months, my skin has been really inflamed, really irritated, very angry. So this is gonna be like one of the most naked, no makeup looks that I have ever done. And I've truly been doing it for the last few weeks. Really excited to share it with you because I feel like it's been helping to soothe my skin and bring it back to life. I've been focusing a lot on moisture and not layering a lot of products on throughout the day. And it's really been helping. I've been trying to keep my ultra glam makeup to when I need to for events and filming and whatnot. But for my everyday, if I need to put something on my face, this has been my go-to. So this is my everyday makeup for winter. It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm excited. Let's zoom in and show you what I'm doing. So as you'll see, I've already done my brows, and that's to save us time, but also because I did have a shaving tragedy. Okay, I don't always shave my forehead when I do my face shaving. I shave my face every week, but I don't always do my forehead. That's definitely a little bit more occasional, but this time, like, I have these little hairs just right at the front that stick up nice and straight, and I love to have them poke. And I don't know how this happened. It's like half the hair somehow got shaved off on this side, and I'm like missing my little long, there's like 2 or 3 long hairs right there, and I somehow shaved it off, and it's so sad. That's my fault for shaving in haste. So be warned, if you're shaving your forehead, tread lightly around the eyebrows. So we just filled in the brows to save us some time. But anyway, let's start with some lips. My lips are very dry right now. I've been using the Tatcha Kissu lip mask. I've actually had this for a long time. I'm nearing the bottom of the barrel, but it's really beautiful. I found it in a Rogue bag and I hadn't seen it for a minute. I was like, there it is. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful lip product. Lots of lip things that I love to use throughout the day, but that's a good one. All right, for the base, I've already done my skincare. Keeping it light, keeping it moisturizing, and the face cream that I've been using is the Embryolisse Le Crème Concentrée. This is the product I used on my wedding day, and I'm actually going to be taking another little layer of this right on the palm of my hand. And I mentioned this previously, but I've been trying to just really scale back on my skincare because my skin has been so angry, and just trying to stick to a couple nice, clear, clean, hydrating things, and that has been my go-to face lotion. I already put the layer on, but what I'm gonna do right now for the ultimate lightest base ever is take a dollop of this, and then the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. This is the shade DT LA, Downtown LA. This is a really nice shade match for me in my most pale state, my wintry skin. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna take some of this out on the palm of my hand, and I'm gonna mix it in. I should have maybe wash my brushes for this. Let's pretend like my brushes are so clean and I'm so on top of it. But what I'm gonna do is my little IT Cosmetics number 7 brush. This has been such a joy to use every day because you get the 2 sides, and then this nice big fluffy side of the brush just makes blending such a dream. So what I'm gonna do is just mix these 2 together. I mean, you could use your finger for this, whatever, but I use this as my face cream, and then I'm gonna mix these together for the lightest base possible. And I'm using the concealer because it's one of those tips that I just forgot about or I hadn't used in such a long time. And really, if you're adding coverage to the skin, you don't necessarily need multiple products at one time. You can just use one. So what I've been doing is mixing it with my cream to create a really nice glowing, hydrating base with a tiny little coverage. I'm basically just making my own little tint by mixing the cream and the concealer. I'm applying it with the small side of the brush, and then I'm blending it out with the big side. And this will pretty much do nothing. Like, this gives the lightest layer, but I also find that it just kind of reinforces the skincare and the hydration by putting on another layer of the cream with the concealer. It just feels really nice on my skin, and I'm just adding a tiny little bit of coverage there and blending that all over the face to get that initial layer. And keep in mind, when I'm not talking through this, I'm doing it on my own. I can do this so fast. This is one of the fastest everyday makeups that I've ever done for sure. And once we apply that initial layer, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna go into the bronzer. I mentioned this already before as well, but the Makeup by Mario bronzer, the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. This is the shade Light Medium. I have this in my project pan pile, and it is my goal to just use this exclusively until it is done. And the color is honestly perfect because it's not too warm and it's not too cool, so I can use it to bronze and contour in one. So I love to start this on my cheekbones, and I kind of just, you know, make a little kissy face, find the line of your cheekbone, and I'm pretty much just applying that all over because, again, the color acts like a bronzer and a contour. I don't feel like I need to exclusively chisel with the lines. I kind of just apply this all over. And I start on my cheekbone, and then I'm gonna make my way up. And what I like to do is start to bring it up towards my forehead, and then I bring it onto my eyelid as well. And I just love this effect, honestly. It's kind of like it's all blended in. You don't know where your bronzer starts and where it ends. And it just gives that very natural feel. And when you're applying this layer, like so many people have said before, it's almost adding another layer of coverage. We're kind of underpainting here in a sense because I'm gonna go on top with the concealer after. And it just all blends in together to make a very, very natural feel on the skin. So then once I've done my eyelid, I kind of just keep blending up towards my forehead, along my hairline. And when I have a really slicked bun like this, I just, you know, you can see the difference in shade from my scalp to my forehead, and I try to do my best to blend it in, but you know, it doesn't always happen as we plan, does it? And then right now, for whatever reason, all of my zits are just collectively gathering here, right here. And I think it's because I sit like this on my laptop. It's such a bad habit I need to kick, but I know it. I know that it's from my hand sitting here. I sit like that every day. It's so bad. But every time one goes away and starts healing, the next one's popping up. Like I've literally had this patch of zits for weeks. It just keeps congregating there. So I'm kind of trying to avoid this area so much. I'm just kind of letting it live, but I might take this down my neck a little bit just because my neck is so much more pale than my face and my chest. It's literally like, this is a little bit red and pink and a little bit darker. My face is what it is. And then this is just white. So I always have to bring something down my neck if my neck is exposed. And it is today in this lovely blue shirt that I wore to symbolize winter. Anyway, going back in with the small end of the IT Cosmetics brush, and I'm just gonna take that along my nose. I don't do this too much because sometimes I can be a little bit aggressive with my nose contour, even though I don't mean to be. So we've still got some of our base concoction mixed in there, and it just kind of just adds a little something something to the nose. Okay, and that's it for the contour. Lovely. I'm gonna go back in with the concealer, and now I'm gonna add a little bit more coverage. We're gonna do a little bit more brightening, and I'm gonna go straight in with the concealer. And first we're gonna tackle under the eyes because this is very purple and very angry. I could use an additional corrector, but again, for my everyday makeup, I like it to just be quick and breezy. I'm gonna do a little bit on the center of my face because this is where I get the most redness and where my makeup kind of fades throughout the day the most. And then I'll just do it around my mouth. I will put a little bit there, but I mostly just ignore it because it's not like in the middle of my face. You can't really see it unless I'm going like this. And if I'm talking to you like this, I mean, we got other fish to fry. And I'll just do a little bit underneath the bronzer too, just to do a little bit of extra chiseling. And now I'm gonna just blend out the inner parts of my eye just to get a little bit of warmth from my finger there and just pat this out a bit. I often apply a bit too much product here, but with that, what I'm gonna do is just bring it onto the lid of my eyeball and just add a little bit of extra brightening on there too. This has been such a delight being able to do this with short nails. Oh my gosh, I haven't been able to do this for so many years, and it feels so good to be able to just dig in there and get right into your eyeball. It's almost like your fingers were made for touching things. Anyway, once that initial patting is done, I will then switch to my lovely little shorter brush, which also desperately needs a wash. We're gonna ignore that, but now I'm gonna use this to pat out the rest of the concealer on the rest of the face. And I just do really, really soft little touches, blend this into the bronzer and try to make it all nice and seamless. This is where the kind of underpainting concept goes, where you're putting your concealer and coverage on top of the bronzing and contouring. But if we were doing a proper Melissa Herkman underpainting method, then we'd be putting the foundation on top of this too. But again, we're just trying to condense and soothe the skin and use a little bit less product on our face for our everyday makeup. So that's the goal here. Just see what a difference that makes. That just really helps to accentuate the contoured and chiselness of the cheekbone. And I think I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit. We'll let that sit and settle, and you know what, I'll just blend around, that's fine. I'm not gonna stress too much about that. Let's go to the forehead, just continuing to blend this out. When I've blended out my concealer, if I find that I have quite a harsh line between my bronzer, I'll just go back in with my bronzer brush, and I just kind of keep touching the brushes. I go in between until it's all seamless and blended out and I'm happy. Now, if I had like an exposed breakout like let's say I had a really giant angry zit or zits on my face, I would still do this same process, because once you do this and get the general like highlighting and contour on your face, you've added a couple of light layers, it really does minimize it, whereas usually I'd be so quick to just throw on the intense heavy coverage. So I would do the same process, and then I'd take a smaller brush or your finger and I would go in with a more matte concealer, maybe like the NARS Soft Matte. Why am I thinking complete? NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I might take a little bit of this pinpoint and just put it right on top of the zits. And that's all I would do additionally if I did have a big active breakout. But for now, I'm gonna leave it at this and I'm happy. I might just go over top and just do an extra little touch with the bigger brush and blend it all out. But really, like, this is one of my favorite bases that I've ever done. I think this little mixture is so pretty. It sits so well on my face and it wears so nicely throughout the day, and my skin has been loving it. It feels so happy. And the coverage is light, my face feels fresh, and you can still actually see my skin. So I have been doing this every single day. This has been my go-to makeup. So the Cali Ray Surf Proof Setting Spray, I've still been testing this out. I honestly really like the feeling of it. Do I know if it makes my makeup last longer? No. But does it feel nice to apply? Yes. I also like the smell. It's a nice fine spritz. I feel like I'm spraying like coconut water on my face. I might very well be. There's no ingredients on here, so I'd have to confirm that later. I'm gonna let that settle in. Let's do lips now, obviously. Still just rocking with my NYX Nude Beige. However, I also really love that new e.l.f. one we tried. The filled frontal, the Jennifer Coolidge collection with e.l.f. Very, very beautiful. I like that color, but I feel like my bronzer, I'm just gonna keep using this until it's done. And also I love how cool toned this is. It's a really nice shade when I'm doing this lighter makeup, my more pale makeup. I want that cool, fresh pink. Like, this is the one I go for if I'm doing warmer shades, if I'm doing my Picante, ultra bronzy summer. That's where I like my Victoria Beckham 02 lip pencil is my go-to, so it kind of just depends. If I'm doing lighter, cooler makeup, I go for this one. It's such a perfect shade. It desperately needs a sharpen too, wow. Just apply that all over to bring some dimension back to my lips. Oh, I just love that color so much. And, you know, I have just been loving the Road Ribbon. I really love the color. I don't know what baby pink, ballet slipper pink, whatever color the pigment is in this is so pretty. And because it's a lip treatment, I feel like for winter lips and winter skin, I'm just getting that extra lovely layer of hydration with a little tint of color too. Obviously, we all love that idea. There's so many tints that have come out on the market. There's so many options. We love a good, juicy, hydrated lip, but there's something in here. There's something in here. Like, look at how extra, like, glossy wet that looks. I don't know what it is, but it's so good. And that slight little hint of pink, I can't get enough of it. Honestly, it's so great. And now that our lips are on, I'm gonna finish up on the cheeks. Another discovery recently, obviously, has been the Pixie On The Go blush. This is the shade Fleur. Oh, it is, you know, like this, just such a pretty shade of pink. I have been sleeping under a rock. You could just go in and apply this with your fingers. You could apply it with the product. I personally like to use a brush because I feel like I can just really softly pile that on top of everything. Look at the slightest hint of pink. This is the perfect everyday, no makeup kind of blush because you just get the softest little whisper of pink on your face. And I'm basically just putting that on top of my cheekbone, and then I'll also just kind of bring it onto the eyelid to make it look like it's everywhere, make it look like it's a natural flush. Put it on my nose. Barely There blush, and I love the color. If you wanted to add a little bit more juice, we can go in with a little highlight to kind of go with the pink theme, the winter theme. I am gonna use the KJH brand. I'm gonna take a little dibble dabble of that. Applying it on the back of my hand first because I do like to get the pigment mixed in with the juice. And then we'll just take our finger and do a little touch of that on top of the cheekbone. Just for the ultimate hydrated, glowing finish. You know, I should have done this after powder. Actually, I got a little bit distracted. I got too excited by the glow. Oops. That's okay. I'm just gonna take my little brush and, sorry, I'm just going between my mirror here, making sure that everything is Gucci and juicy. Lovely. And for the final product, going with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, I'm using the tiniest bit of this. I take my brush, I dip it into the powder, and I tap everything off in the palm of my hand. And then I apply it from there. And I start underneath my eyes because I do get very like wet looking there. I just like it to be a little bit more matte and set. I got a lot of movement, I got a lot of eye crinkles, you know, I just try to make it as set as possible. And then I do take a little bit on my nose because for whatever reason, my skin has like transformed into ultra combination. Like around my mouth is the most dry and then my nose is the most wet and oily looking. It's crazy. Especially when I'm inside with heat blasting in the winter time and I just sweat all day, you know? Let's try to help that a little bit. And then with any excess product, that's what I'm using around my mouth because I am so dry there. I don't want to make it too emphasized with too much powder. So I'm pretty much just using whatever's left over on the brush. Do a little touch on my eyelids in case I have any creasing concealer. We'll do a final spritz of the setting spray just for good measure and because it feels delicious. Oh, and I almost forgot to set my brows in. Sorry. Benefit 24-hour clear brow gel. R.I.P. R.I.P. again to my little eyebrow hair there. Just give it a little lift. I'm not doing the full slick feathered brow. I'm just giving it a little touch, a little help to be a little bit lifted. And when the brows are set, that's it. I'm actually not doing mascara because for my everyday makeup, truly most of the time I just can't be bothered. It kind of depends on what I'm feeling on that day, but I can always start with this base throughout the day and add on to it when I want. So I can wear this throughout my day while I'm working, I'm at home, whatever. And then when I was going out at night, headed out for the evening, I can always add on to this. I can add on some eyeshadow, add on mascara, intensify the contour and the blush a little bit, but this is a great base to start with. Sometimes like, I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. I know a lot of you are gonna be horrified and scream at me, but sometimes I just wet my fingers a little bit and I'll just go like this on my eyelashes in case I got any like concealer or foundation or something. Just wipe it off and bring my lashes back. We could curl our lashes for a little lift, which still, I don't know why this scares me so much, but every single time I do it, I feel like I'm gonna rip all my eyelashes out and I know it happens, which is why I'm scared. I prefer to just avoid it altogether, but it does make a difference. Please don't fall off. Okay, wow, look at how lifted that is. This is where the old school Maybelline clear mascara would actually come in handy. Maybe I should play with that again. Should have thought about that before I filmed this video. And this, my friends, is the finished makeup look. Truly the makeup look that I have been wearing every single day. I am so obsessed with how it looks. It just makes me feel so fresh and alive and beautified without throwing a million products onto my face. I mean, there's still a lot, but you know, it's a much more manageable daily amount of makeup and my skin has been loving it. And I feel like we're healing, we're prepping our skin, we're staying hydrated for the winter and I am thrilled about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and please tell me any products that you are loving, anything that you're switching out for your everyday makeup now that we're headed into colder winter weather. I would love to hear from you. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for a new LANMAS video. Bye!